one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
At this time, we will have a roll call.
Bobby Bowser,
Present.
Thomas Estefano, Brian Carroll,
Here.
James Ford,
Here.
Jennifer Boykin,
Here.
George Rawls,
Here.
Raynard Gibbs,
Here.
Matthew Smith.
Here.
Chairman, you have a quorum.
Thank you. Are there any actions to be withdrawn, Ms. Ray?
There have been no requests this evening.
All right, thank you. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second.
All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Is there a motion to pass the consent agenda?
So moved.
Second.
Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All right, motion carried. At this time, we open the floor for citizens' comments. Is there anyone present tonight that would like to come and speak on anything that's not on the agenda? You can do it now. All right, seeing none, we close the citizens' comments. Let's move down to new business.
Good evening. Tonight, I am reporting on the application of EXC 24-6 Paula Thompson and Samuel Goff, waivers to Section 324A4 and Section 591C of the subdivision ordinance. This property is known as Tax Map ID 700120. It's located on Bobcat Lane. The current zoning is RAC. The district of the election district is D5, and the request is to create two single-family residential lots on a private easement that serves more than two lots already, and it does not meet public road standards. This parcel contains over 215 acres, and it's located on the south side of Carsville Highway. Adjacent land uses include single-family residential, agricultural, commercial, and wetlands. This property was purchased in 2016 by these present owners and is accessed by an ingress and egress easement that crosses CSX Railroad, known as Bobcat Lane. It serves now 5 existing lots or parcels. The owners propose to establish a new ingress-egress from Bobcat running along their property in a westerly direction to access the 2 new proposed lots. The owners will establish a road maintenance agreement for the new easement. Bobcat Lane does not have an existing road maintenance agreement. CSX Railroad does maintain the crossing across the right-of-way of the railroad between Bobcat and Route 58. Subdivision ordinance requires all roads which provide access to more than 3 lots meet VDOT standards. The property owners request a waiver to Section 324A4 of the subdivision ordinance to allow the creation of a family member lot on a private road that serves more than 2 lots, as well as a waiver for Section 591C, which requires that all streets serving 3 or more lots are built to public standards. The site is located in the REC on the future recommended land use map. The designation is intended to maintain and conserve rural character and farmlands and provide for a full range of agricultural farming activities, related uses, along with scattered low-density housing. The proposed use is consistent with the future land use map. In our ordinance review, Section 324A4 addresses family member subdivisions, which states that no more than 1 family member subdivision may be created from a single lot, which is accessed from a single easement of right-of-way, unless approved by the Board of Supervisors on recommendation of the Planning Commission. Section 591C, all new streets must be to public and improved to comply with VDOT road and bridge standards. And Section 32110E lists criteria in order to approve the waiver. The Board of Supervisors shall make affirmative actions finding the following criteria are met. Granting the waiver will not have adverse impact on the land use compatibility. Staff finds that the proposed use is consistent. strict adherence to the general regulations which result in substantial injustice or hardship, staff finds there's no hardship because the parcel can be used for its intended single-family residential use as it is. The waiver has not been opposed in writing by the county, VDOT engineer, or health official. VDOT has not opposed the application. The health department will be required to issue a permit for installation of a well and a septic. Granted, the administrative waiver shall be consistent with the purpose and intent of this ordinance. Staff finds that the proposed subdivision is not consistent with the purpose and intent of the ordinance, which is to promote the orderly development of the county and to protect public health, safety, and welfare by assuring access by emergency vehicles. VDOT has stated there are no impacts to the state-maintained right-of-way. The on-site soil evaluator has assessed the property and has found adequate septic system and for primary and reserve drain fields as far as, and also wells, and no concerns were identified by any other county departments. This is an exhibit that was created showing the 215 acres. We're going down Route 58 towards Carsville on Carsville Highway. There's an access you see, center line of Bobcat Lane there on your right. That goes across the railroad track. And then an easement would be created from there to go directly west to serve these two lots where they want to do the family transfers and build a house on each of these lots and keep the farm in its current use. This is the aerial photograph that shows you coming down Walters Highway to Carsville Highway. You're going to go towards Carsville and you're going to get to the site. When you get to the Bobcat Lane, you see that crosses the railroad. That Bobcat Lane actually goes down through there. It doesn't really show on its aerial, but all the properties that it currently serves it goes straight down south to or west, you could say, of that property. This is the land use map showing there's all types of mixed-use developments in the area. You've got the EC, you've got the PI, you've got the SR, you've got the multi-use, you've got SR, SE, so that there's a lot of different uses, land uses in that particular area. And the EC is most of that is swamp. We're going down Carsville Highway. Took this from Google rather than doing it on the road. You're going down Carsville Highway towards Carsville, and it's going to be the first road to your right. It's the yellow street sign that says Bobcat Lane because it is a private road. There we're stopping at and turning in that ingress-egress easement. And when you're coming back across or going in, you see the railroad crossing there. The stop sign, the railroad crossing, and this guy's coming across and coming back out. Staff conclusions are that the proposed two lots are consistent with the recommended future land use designation of RAC, and there will be a road maintenance agreement to provide maintenance for the new extended easement to provide ingress-egress for these two new lots if approved. Staff recommends denial of the waiver based on its weakness. If the board does approve the request, staff recommends that it be approved with the condition that the road maintenance agreement be recorded for the new ingress-egress easement as approved by the county attorney. And that's all I have. The representative is here if you have questions that you want to ask the representative's attorney.
All right, thank you very much. Mr. Riddick, you want to come forward?
I would. Mr. Chairman and members of the Planning Commission, I'm William Riddick, and I represent the applicant. Let's see if I can get to this map. Ms. Thompson bought this property. It's a farm. It's 215 acres, and for years now, she's wanted to build a home on here. When there used to be 3 access points across the railway there, but CSX has revoked 2 of them. They did it for safety purposes, and so this is they show this as Bobcat Lane right here, but the real Bobcat Lane was, it came across the, if you see the cursor, it came across the railway, and then all the development is back here. I think there are 5 houses back there. So, and that's been done a long time ago. But she owns the farm right here, and she is proposing that you come across the crossing right here, and then they would create a new right-of-way, an easement to serve these two lots right here. The staff conclusion is that they could still use it in its intended use. Well, the intended use is a farm. It's 215 acres and it's being farmed right now. But she would have the right, like anyone else, to cut out lots if she had road frontage. But CSX, through no fault of her own, of Mrs. Goff, has revoked these two rights away. I gave, the agreement with the CSX is confidential. You can't let anybody see it. So I had to give it to Mr. Jones for him to confirm that there actually is a road agreement that allows access over there. So she does have the right to cross here, but she doesn't have a right to cross anywhere else. And so what she's asking for is simply, there is no house right here. She's proposing to put a house here, and this is a lot for her son. If you go to the conclusions arrived at by staff that she could build her own single-family residence, as a practical matter, you can't borrow money. You can't borrow money on a 215-acre farm to finance a single-family residence. The ability, the sources of money to do that are very limited. And you know, it's reasonable for a property owner to be able to get two lots out of this farm right here. It's far below the permitted density, and we think it's entirely reasonable. The strict enforcement of your ordinances as they've been changed, limiting no more than 3 lots on an undeveloped right-of-way is a hardship on her, because she can't access her property in any other way. There's no other way for her to get there. This was done long before she ever bought the property, and truly, if you want to look at it practically, this is Bobcat Lane. This is just the right-of-way access point that is permitted by CSX, and she's just proposing a driveway from this point right here to the lots that she's proposing. So we think this is entirely reasonable. It's well within your purview to grant this. It's not unlike anything anybody else would otherwise be permitted to do, but for the fact that the right-of-way has limited, the railroad has limited her right access to her property. And so for those reasons, we would hope you would help Ms. Goff out and recommend to the Board of Supervisors that you grant this waiver so she can create these 2 lots right here. And I'd be happy to answer any questions that you have.
All right, thank you, Mr. Reed.
Now, I do have a question. There's a barn on that first lot, the smaller lot.
I think years ago, there probably was a house there years ago. It's not there anymore.
But there is a barn there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I expect there probably used to be a farmhouse there, but it's long gone. And, you know, under the old rules, you could put your farmhouse back, but based on the new right-of-way rules, you can't do that.
All right. Anyone have any more questions for Mr. Ritter?
I do have a quick question. Was the CSX right-of-way changed during her ownership or prior?
I don't know that. I don't know. It doesn't say so in the agreement, but there used to be, there is evidence that there used to be 3 access points to that farm.
Thank you.
And the agreement is private.
It's perpetual, it goes with the land.
It's perpetual, but it says it's
Confidential.
Confidential.
How
So I
can it be
couldn't give it to her, I could give it to you.
How can it be confidential when you got it? He has.
He had to agree not to disclose it.
And he didn't.
Did?
I got a question for Mr. Jones.
Yes, sir.
Will the road maintenance agreement apply to all of Bobcat Lane or just the section that she proposes to build?
I believe it would only apply to the section that she is proposing to build and what I would call the access point to Carsville Highway. Correct,
That's
Mr.
where the
Riddick?
sign is, it says Bobcat, I don't know.
Mr. Ross, I prepared the agreement because they said we needed to, and it says that those two lot owners, Ms. Goff and her son.
Right.
They would be responsible for maintaining the right-of-way to ensure vehicular access to and from those properties and.
Those, just those two lots, not the rest of
Because-
Bobcat Lane.
Well, we can't make them, I couldn't make them to agree
Right.
to all them sharing in the maintenance of just that little piece.
Right. It was just confusing because it said Bobcat Lane.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think they ought to really call that little piece Bobcat Lane, but that's what the county does.
It's always been known as Bobcat Lane, but I know it's confusing because of it, and we looked up, there are easements as shown on this, because I verified all of that. The easements are there, there was an easement south, looking this way, but, there was an easement that went to, right to her property that wasn't that, like he said, that was closed, we couldn't figure out when, we found that. The Bobcat Lane, historically, when you turn off of 58 onto Bobcat, you go up, and it goes up and it goes around. It doesn't go in her direction at
Right.
all.
Goes to the
But,
left.
when you come across the railroad, that's on her land.
Right.
So,
But the
that's the way it
existing
was
homes
when
are
Cliff
on-
Barnes owned it and, forgot the guy's name before that. So they have access, they've just used the access, but now we require an easement because it's private.
Right.
Where,
The practical matter of this is, the only portion of the easement that is being impacted by the two new houses is that short piece from Carsville Highway across the railroad track. And if Mrs. Goff wanted to build she sold a house, had plenty of money, and wanted to build a house on her farm, she would be adding another house to an existing non-conforming easement that she would have the right to do. It's the subdivision of this second house that's causing the waiver issue. So I mean, that she could impact the easement without a road maintenance agreement or anything else to build one house.
and she's in agreement to do that. He's already-
But
he's
you
already-
couldn't borrow the money. That would be-
Right.
So,
So the outcome of this is, somebody is on the hook now that's agreeing to maintain the portion that at least gets the rescue squad across the railroad tracks and to their homes, maybe not the other homes that are already out there.
But the other homes' addresses are Bobcat Lane, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
That's what the confusing part was.
Yeah.
We're just having a road maintenance agreement with the two new lots, or does it include everybody else on Bobcat Lane?
Just the piece that crosses.
Just
the road.
just the two new lots?
And the piece, that little short piece, right? She'd have to maintain this little piece right here,
Right,
that little piece.
yeah, on the other side of the tracks.
Right. That, she's agreed to maintain that. None of these people have maintained
Right.
or have agreed to it, but she will, and then she's gotta keep this piece up.
Because Bobcat Lane is a mess. Like, yeah, I went back there and checked it out, and it is a mess, but her portion of it is not. It's fine.
so that was your
Except for
trucking
when you
picture.
go over the railroad, but there's like just a short little snippet that, has a few potholes.
But the true intent of the guidance is that once you have a road maintenance agreement, the new existing part will be built to standards where we can access it, or it can be accessed.
The standard is to maintain it
Right.
to ensure vehicular access to and from the property.
Right.
As I understand it, what is being proposed, the new lots, if approved, would not impact, to change anything. The problem is, if I'm adding to an existing road that's going down to a farm, and I add two more at the end, I'm impacting an already traveled road. This is not that case.
Right.
Okay.
I'm sorry that it was confusion.
that's okay.
Misunderstanding, because it's hard to explain
Yeah,
unless
because
you've
it
been
does say
out there.
Bobcat Lane, and I'm thinking, well, if you're
Yeah.
doing a road maintenance agreement, it would
Yeah,
include
I
everybody on the
understand.
road.
I understand, yeah. Maybe this should be Bobcat Extension, or maybe it shouldn't be referred to at all as Bobcat, I'm not sure.
Well, the mailman needs to know where to deliver it.
That's right.
And so you had no communication from the other people who live back there? Nobody has raised
She
any.
doesn't know any of those people.
Okay.
She didn't have anything to do with that. That's been done. I don't know how they borrow money they got no road maintenance agreement either. Nowadays, you couldn't do it.
But I wondered if anybody even knew, because I didn't see any county signs out there. That didn't, oh, okay, yeah. But really, that part of Bobcat Lane where they're building won't impact the other residents at all, because everybody's turning left.
Yeah, but the funniest things come up. You never, that's why I asked that question.
Well, with them covering the part from the railroad tracks to 58, it actually would be a benefit for the other residents. At least that part of the road will be maintained.
Yeah. But it's such a short piece.
Sure.
Yeah, very short piece.
So if they're willing to do the road maintenance agreement, then you guys recommend approval if they're willing to do the road maintenance agreement, correct?
Is that a motion?
No. Just clarity.
Is your motion? Anybody?
I'll make a motion that we approve the application and with staff's recommendations of a road maintenance agreement.
Second.
All right, thank you very much. Roll call, please, Amanda.
Jennifer Boykin,
Yes.
James Ford,
Yes.
George Rawls,
Yes.
Raynard Gibbs,
Yes.
Matthew Smith,
Yes.
Brian Carroll,
Yes.
Bobby Bowser.
Yes.
Motion passed.
All right.
Thank you very much.
20th.
March 20th. I mean, you don't have to leave, Mr. Riddick. You can.
I got another meeting I gotta go to. I'd rather stay for this one.
All right. Can we move to B, which is the Planning Commission annual report?
So the second new item on your agenda tonight is just the review and approval of the 2024 annual report. And as you'll see on the inside cover, we have a picture of our new chairman for the chairman's letter on the inside, as well as description of this year's Planning Commission activities and list of major developments in the county. As you can see, we've had a very busy year.
Look very interesting.
I really thought that was Charles Barkley.
I like the aura you have around you in the picture.
Hold on, y'all. I ain't taking jokes tonight.
Hey, we got time for those tonight, okay?
Okay. All right. Is there any discussion on the annual report here?
The commissioners aren't right in the, like, on page 3. You were chair last year, I wasn't chair.
That's correct.
Okay, we can certainly fix that. That's no problem.
And Tom was vice chair?
Yes.
Cutting and pasting. Any other revisions or changes that you'd like to see?
Okay. Is there a
It
motion?
is a good picture, Mr. Bowser.
That's not my good side right there. Okay. Is there a motion, anyone?
With the necessary corrections, so moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor of said motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposition? Motion carried. Thank you. Okay. Let's go down to the planning director's report.
The first item under the planning director's report are the latest set of proposed industrial setback revisions for your review and discussion. As you recall, at your January 28th regular meeting, you asked that to continue your discussion on the proposed changes to the industrial use setback requirements. So at the meeting that the January 28th meeting, you all discussed what kind of impact the proposed 300-foot setback would have on existing industrial zone property and whether that would curtail the use or severely impact the return on investment for the county for some of the existing industrially zoned properties in the Shirley T. Holland Intermodal Park, for example. We also talked about whether or not we were in line with other localities in terms of their required setbacks versus what we had proposed and whether we were more stringent or less stringent than what they required. You also discussed possibly a sliding scale for setbacks as well as increasing setbacks based on the number of buildings on a planned industrial site as well as how many buildings were on that site. So staff went back, you asked staff to take another look at the revisions and bring back another version of the red line version for the proposed changes. So staff went back and we proposed several changes. One is that there would be a 100-foot setback applied to the side and rear property lines of industrial development with one building and 200 feet for industrial development with 2 or more buildings adjacent to residential subdivisions of 5 lots or more recorded on the same plat as of July 1, 2025. We also asked that there be a buffer of at least 3 rows of staggered evergreen landscaping planted a maximum of 10 foot on center required in addition to the berm that's at least 10 foot high. We also would like to require a sound wall or other mitigation measure required as recommended in the sound study as approved by the zoning administrator. And then we also added an exemption section that would allow property owners to request an exemption for these requirements from the Board of Supervisors following a recommendation from the Planning Commission. So we proposed reducing the setbacks to 100 feet and 200 feet from 300 feet to be more consistent with other Virginia localities, but also at the same time recognizing the increased potential impacts when you have industrial developments with more than one user on the site. We also applied the enhanced setbacks to the side and rear property lines because the existing ordinance actually already requires a 100-foot setback for industrial uses. You're allowed to put the office use 35 foot from the front yard setback, but anything that's an industrial building would have to be 100 feet back. So that only thing with that requirement is that the berming, the sound wall, and the landscaping would not be required from the front yard setback or from the street. It would just be the side and the rear. The sliding scale setbacks were not recommended due to potential to creating non-conforming properties. Our concern was that if you had a set 200 foot from an existing residence, if that resident was torn down and moved closer to an industrial property, that could make the industrial property non-conforming. Because there's no similar restriction on the residential use, it would just be the industrial use that had to maintain that 200-foot setback. So this is a copy of the red line ordinance as it's attached in your staff report. So the new language is bolded and underlined, and so we added that for parcels directly adjacent to an existing residential subdivision of at least 5 lots recorded on the same plat as of July 1, 2025, the minimum setback for new industrial uses consisting of one building shall be 100 feet and 200 feet for industrial uses with 2 or more buildings from the side and rear property lines adjacent to the residential subdivision. And then in item G, we added, in addition to the berm with a minimum height of 10 feet, that you had to install 3 rows of staggered evergreen landscaping, planted a maximum of 10 feet on center. Then we added to item H, a sound study shall be required with the submittal of the application for the industrial use. The new development shall implement a sound wall or other mitigation measure as recommended in the study, in addition to the berm and landscaping requirements as approved by the zoning administrator. Then, of course, in item I is what we call the escape clause, or the ability for the board and the planning commission to grant exemptions to these requirements. With that, I'll take any questions and let you all continue to have your discussion on the proposed revisions.
Okay. Any discussions?
Is there language like that's in under I that's in any other, part of our zoning ordinance?
Yes.
It is, okay.
Another cut and paste specialty of mine.
I think she captured all of our recommendations.
So we'll give her A for tonight.
No, that's on you, Chair.
I think it's a huge improvement over what we had,
Absolutely.
definitely, yes. So, thank you very
Sure.
much,
You do get A for tonight.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you all are happy with these changes, we can certainly advertise them for the next planning commission meeting for public hearing, along with the exemption for the public utility cabinets that you all had considered and decided to move forward to public hearing whenever this was ready.
Matthew, you got that puzzled look
I
on his
do,
face.
that's not puzzled. I know that EDA had some concerns with the 300. If she's here, would she be willing to come and kind of share with her opinion about this?
Chrissy?
Yeah.
Good evening, Commissioners. So this is much improved in terms of EDA property. I think that this means that only 1 out of the 4 parcels that we were concerned about would still be impacted, and that's the 82-acre site in Shirley T. Phase 2, because there's a cluster of 8 homes right there at the corner of Old Suffolk and Old Mill West. And if they were all platted at the same time, which I haven't looked into that yet, then that parcel would still be impacted by this proposed 200-foot setback.
If they built more than one building.
One building.
Well, that parcel, the concept for that was 4 buildings.
Okay, so a big improvement over where we were before.
Yes.
Thank you.
Do we need a motion on that, Ms. Ring? Mr. Dunn? You think so?
If everybody's satisfied, we'll just advertise it for public hearing at your next meeting.
Okay. Everybody's clear?
Yes, thank you.
Good? All right. Thank you, Ms. Ring. Okay,
Right.
can we move to number 2, the comprehensive plan 5-year review?
Yes. So as you recall, the Community Comprehensive Plan 5-year stakeholder working group decided to conduct a kind of a community feedback survey as part of the 5-year comprehensive plan review. And so we conducted the survey this fall, and then we received the results, and then we analyzed the results, and we did an actual preliminary presentation to the stakeholder working group at their last meeting. So I wanted to also go ahead and present the survey results to you all during your regular meeting. And we will hopefully receive the results from the growth management study, scenario study from the consultant here and in the next few weeks, and we could start putting all the pieces together for the final draft of the comprehensive plan. So as I was saying, the survey was a community engagement tool to assess the current level of satisfaction with the overall quality of life in the county, as well as satisfaction with current development trends 5 years into the comprehensive plan since its adoption in 2020. Staff developed a draft community feedback survey with the help of the comprehensive plan review stakeholder working group, and we actually conducted the survey online using the SurveyMonkey platform from October through the beginning of December this past fall. We received over 900 total survey responses and over 445 individual written comments on the open questions in the survey. So this is a graphic showing the responses to question number 1. This is the first out of 7 questions that we actually had on the survey. The survey was not intentionally designed to not be very long, to make it easy for people and encourage them to complete the survey and respond. So we asked people, are you a resident, property owner, or business owner in the county? Most people that responded to the survey were property owners, followed by renters. And then the fewest number of respondents were actually business owners in the county.
Got that. Do you have those numbers transposed? Because you got
That's measured
business,
at 7.4.
So property owners was 92.6, business owner, was 9.82, and then the renter was 7.4. And I'm not sure, that's a Survey Monkey thing, that wasn't me, sorry. So I'll check on that.
and the blue, your blue box under business owner needs to.
Yeah, it needs to be bigger than the yellow. I don't know why they did that. So question 2 is please rate your satisfaction with the overall quality of life in Isle of Wight County. And for the most part, everybody, 56.37%, were generally satisfied with the current quality of life in the county. 24.36% of respondents were somewhat dissatisfied. And then the next group were very satisfied, with 15% of the respondents being very satisfied with the survey. So the majority of the people in the county are satisfied with the overall quality of life in the county. Question 3 was, when you think about the number and variety of places to live, work, and shop in Isle of Wight County, would you like to see more, about the same of, or fewer of the following types of places? And we gave out in the survey about 23 categories of different uses in the county that they could choose from. They could either choose they wanted to see more of these things, about the same of these things, they thought we were about at the right place with them, less than, or, none at all. And so we had things like single-family detached homes, apartments, townhomes, accessory dwelling units, senior housing, grocery stores, bakeries, restaurants, bars, food trucks, local entertainment establishments, arts and cultural facilities, sports facilities, and those kinds of things. And so when we got the responses back, we found that most people would like to see more restaurants, local entertainment establishments, daycare, and after-school programs, public parks, trails, and open space. They voted that the most people voted that they thought we have about the right amount of single-family homes, senior housing, grocery stores, boutique retail, bars, food trucks, regional entertainment, arts and cultural facilities, sports facilities, fast food, microbreweries, office and business parks, professional services, and the like. The majority of respondents, however, would like to see less apartments, townhomes, and accessory dwelling units. So we did have a couple of open-ended questions in the survey, and question 4 was one of them. And it asked, what other types of places would you like to see in Isle of Wight County? And this allowed people to kind of freehand and put in their own things that they would like to see more of in Isle of Wight County in the future. And most frequently mentioned places, including more of a variety of places to eat, specifically naming sit-down restaurants, coffee shops, local and national change. It ran the gamut, everything from Chick-fil-A to Lone Star Steakhouse. So a lot of people wanted more locally owned places, and other people's wanted to see more variety, more chains, more kind of different variety of places to eat.
Is that AI?
Yeah, I didn't like the way you did this page.
Sorry, no, this is me, not AI.
All the random.
It's AR.
That's a good one, Ms. Green. That's good.
That's good. It's quick wit.
So then the people also mentioned that they wanted more variety of retail shopping opportunities, and they included things like big box retailers such as Walmart and Target and home improvement stores, but then they also wanted to see more boutique shops and specialty type of stores. They also wanted more variety of services such as medical services, pet grooming, dry cleaning, and daycare services. And another big option that was mentioned was more entertainment options such as bowling, shooting ranges, a movie theater, music, and event centers. And another thing that came up again and again along with the entertainment option was that there was a lack of things for youth and children to do in the county. Parks and recreational facilities were a popular item, with people frequently mentioning bike and pedestrian trails, equestrian facilities, water access, playgrounds, a public pool, senior centers, community centers, and accessible facilities for special needs. More and improved schools was a top mention, to include after-school programs, and growth management was a consistent theme throughout. So the top ones in terms of the highest number of mentions and these 400, and I think we got 448 individual comments on that question. The top words that were mentioned throughout all of these responses, retail was mentioned the most, with food, diverse restaurants and places to eat being the second. Parks and recreation facilities was the third most mentioned. Entertainment was the fourth most mentioned. Growth management, meaning that people were concerned that the amount and rate at which the county was growing, that we had public services that could keep up with that. Schools was the sixth most mentioned. Services, meaning services like dry cleaning and medical services and senior citizen services, were the seventh most mentioned option. Open space preservation, housing and economic development, both tied for number 9. And loss and preservation of community character were the 10th most mentioned component in this, and the answer to the question number 4. So then we asked people to rank as being important, very important, not important, or not important at all, some issues that the county would be facing over the next 5 to 10 years. What did they feel like would be the most important versus the least important? Ranked as very important included traffic, was a top mention, controlling the amount of residential development, controlling the amount of commercial development, tax rates, crime, schools, road repair, or more roads, community character, water and sewer service, parks and recreation facilities, and emergency services. And the question number 6 was also one of our open-ended questions, and we received 403 responses to that one. And the most frequently mentioned items included traffic and roads, growth management and loss of community character, growth management and the ability of public services to accommodate this future growth, schools, whether it be school overcrowding, or that we needed more schools, or that we needed more resources, or we needed better schools, loss of farmland and open space, taxes again, public safety, and government transparency. So for question 7, we asked a couple of demographic questions. The last one here was, what is your gender? The biggest percentage, 66%, were female, whereas 29 or about 30% were male, and then we had a small percentage that preferred not to answer. And we asked what your age range was, and the biggest percentage of people answering were between the ages of 31 and 45, followed by 46 to 59. We did have 23% between the ages of 60 to 75%. The next largest one was between the ages of 18 and 30 years, and then the smallest cohort of respondents were those over 75 and those under 18 years of age. We asked people, how long have you lived or owned / operated a business in the county? We were trying to get an idea of how long the people who'd been involved in the county answering these questions, how long they'd been involved in the county, whether as a renter, a property owner, business owner. Most people responding to the survey had lived in the county more than 20 years, or had operated a business or rented in the county for over 20 years. The next largest cohort was between 10 and 20 years, and then the next one after that was between 5 and 10. So that is it for that presentation. I can answer any questions if you'd like. I had mentioned during the stakeholder working group meeting that this was not meant to be a statistically valid survey. It's meant as a public engagement tool to get people thinking about where they want to be as the county grows in the future, and what trends they like and don't like, and what is their overall satisfaction with the county. I suggested that perhaps during the next large comprehensive plan development that the county goes through, that maybe they do hire a consultant to do a more scientifically consistent survey involving the community that would actually have a professional surveyor go out and, have people go out and conduct surveys and reach out and targeted households in different areas of the county. And
I
that
think you
kind
did pretty good with this one, got 903 reviews, that's pretty good.
How many did we have on the last, 5 years ago, on the last comp plan?
So the largest survey, the largest number of responses that we got back on that initial survey were like 785. So,
So we grew this time.
Yeah.
That's good.
yeah.
I'd love to see a breakdown of how many people, break it down to who lives in what district. I'd just be curious to see what the needs are, of different people in different areas of the county.
Right.
What do they think they need?
What do they think? Yeah.
So with this survey, we didn't ask that question about where they were from, and based on the fact it was an online survey, there's no way to determine where they were responding from. So unfortunately, I can't answer that question with this particular survey. That would be something for a future survey that I would think would be important to ask.
Yeah, but on your question, Jennifer, just thinking about it, if we went by districts, that wouldn't be quite a fair assessment because the districts are so crazy.
Or if you just divided the county up into northern, middle, southern end, something like that. Because I feel like, like some of these questions were more, answered by people maybe on the northern end, and some, like I know down on our way, we don't have very much in the way of like a police presence or emergency presence. Then that might be a little bit more different for, like I said, different people in the different areas of the county might have different
Parks and
answers,
Rec.
different needs, yeah. Because we don't have anything like that down there either, yeah.
There were a few responses. If you go back and read some of the individually inputted responses to some of these open questions, there are a few mentions that even though we were trying to group responses into, okay, this one is addressing public services or this one's addressing Parks and Rec, when you read their comments, they're saying, we don't have any parks and recreational facilities near Windsor. We don't have anything for the teenagers to do in the town of Windsor. Stop pushing all your growth to Windsor. I mean, there were, responses
I did see some
like that.
were specific in Windsor,
So,
yeah.
Yeah.
Especially the growth part.
All right. So our next planned stakeholder working group meeting hopefully will be March the 11th, and hopefully we'll have something to present to them from the consultant with regard to the growth rate scenario study that they're doing. So
Okay.
that's all for the planning director's report tonight.
All right. Mr. Jones, do you ever think the county of Isle of Wight will ever go to 7 districts possible?
Probably not until the next, the next census, which would be, 9 years from now? We had a hard enough time coming up with the 5 districts.
Just general thought.
Caleb's the expert.
We stay 5.
Yep, I would concur with that.
Yep. Southern end will really get hammered.
There's not enough seats around the table. You have to.
You're right.
put the Thing out.
That's why we keep kicking people off, we don't have enough room.
Well, we'll probably had then go to each supervisor, only get 1.5 persons. 2. Okay, Mr. Jones, is there a county
Yes, sir.
attorney report? Okay. Any other discussion from the commissioners tonight? Is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
You can make a motion on the waiver, but you were quick on the adjourn.
I got here.